Hi! In this video I'll show how to cross-stitch using a water-soluble canvas. There'll be some tips and tricks on securing a thread at the right side of your fabric so that nobody notices it and you won't need to turn the hoops over each time you start or end cross-stitching. You'll also find out how to make thin cross-stitches and fractional stitches such as 1/4 and 3/4 stitch and how I do two-handed cross-stitching. At the end of this video, I show how to embroider these beautiful flowers and leaves at the cat's hat. My design size was 7.4 by 5.8 centimeters. I also added several centimeters to each side, cut out a piece of water-soluble canvas and secured it on the fabric with hand stitches. I start cross-stitching by finding the design center and making it on the fabric. My first cross-stitch is at the design's center. Here I show the first method of securing a thread at the right side of the fabric. This'll do if you have a solid thread color, not blend, and you need to embroider with two strands. Take one strand, fold it in half, and you'll get a loop at the strand's one end. Make a knot as I show in the video. I usually make cross stitches from the bottom left corner to the upper right corner, and then from the lower right corner to the upper left corner. Sometimes I change ups and downs for convenience, but the directions of the lower and upper stitches should always be the same. Suppose you are out of thread and want to secure its end. Make a long stitch at the wrong side, bring the thread to the right side and cut it off very close to the fabric. Later, when you cross-stitch at this place, you'll bring this thread tip to the wrong side. And the thread would also be secured by other cross-stitches at the wrong side. Let's move on to the fractional stitches. Here I show how to make a 1/4 stitch and then a 3/4 stitch of it. These are possible to make even on a water-soluble canvas. I always start with the smallest stitch, from one corner to the center of the cross-stitch, and then make a normal half stitch over it. Don't forget about your stitches' directions. Here I show how to make thin cross-stitches. They could be vertically or horizontally oriented and are performed just like normal cross-stitches but are twice as thin. Sometimes there are blends in cross-stitch designs. Here I have a two strands blend. That means I take one strand of each color indicated in the description to the pattern and put them together. Here I show another method of securing a thread's end at the beginning of stitching, with a micro-stitch. This method is good for blends. I leave a short thread tip at the front and make a micro-stitch that would secure the thread, and then just hide the tip with my stitches. I also want to show how I do two-handed cross-stitching. It is very easy when you have a hoops holder. My right hand is underneath the hoops as I'm right-handed, and the left one stays on top, so that I can control it better. This method speeds up your work a lot. When I want to secure a thread end at the fabric's right side and when there'll be no more cross stitches to be made in this area that would secure the thread from the back, I just leave the thread's long tip at the front for now. I'll return to these tips later and secure them at the wrong side when I turn the hoops over. I use this method when I start making backstitch. You could make backstitches at this stage or wait until the water-soluble canvas is removed. When I'm done with the stitches, I remove hand stitches that secured our water-soluble canvas in place. Then I cut the excess water-soluble canvas off with sharp small scissors very carefully. Сигер попил. I cross-stitched 2 mirrored cats, as I'm going to use these in a color. I'll leave the link to the color video in the description. I soaked the fabric in warm water for 10 minutes and then gave it a very mild rub. After that, I placed the fabric flat on a fluffy towel, let it dry and ironed it carefully with steam. Now I would like to show how to embroider beautiful flowers and leaves on the hat. Let's start with roses. They are made with spider web rose stitches. I take 6 strands of pink DMC floss for the large flower. You could find all the DMC numbers in a pattern file. It could be challenging to run this thick thread through the fabric at first. I use 3 strands for the smaller roses. I make some French knots in a light yellow color, using 2 strands and making 4 turns for each one of them. I use light and dark green colors for leaves and stems. I take 3 strands for the leaves and 2 for the stems. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful for you. Let me know in the comments if it was. See you in the next videos. Bye!